Hi, this is Derek with Boise Cylinder Head Services. Today we're continuing on with our Subaru rebuild. This is a single overhead cam, 2.5 liter Subaru head, the left-hand head out of like a 2008 Subaru Outback. We have disassembled it, ground the valves, cleaned it all up, put in new guides, cut the seats, assembled the valves and springs and keepers, vacuum checked to make sure they're up to snuff. And now we're going to be installing the cam and the cam cap assembly along with these rocker arms here. And then we'll put a heat tab on it, look it all over, and this thing will be good to go. That's what we're doing today, so we'll continue on here. First, I'm going to take a little bit of oil off the caps just to make sure that there's good contact area for the gasket to sit. Any kind of fingerprints or grease marks we want off of there. Otherwise, it'll throw our gasket off and there'll be a leak all said and done. So I already did that to this side of the head. And now we're going to put on a little bit of grease. This is driven and engine assembly grease, driven racing oil. It's what we use on all our cam journals and bearings. Just want a little bit here, a little bit on the cap. So that you don't have to, the engine doesn't have to pump the oil there for it to be safe to start. Although we do recommend priming your engine regardless. Let's see, and then we got this cam plug that goes on the back of the cylinder head. We have had a lot of issues with the bearing, the cam plug area being warped over time. And if you put these things in dry, a lot of times they'll just pop right back out. So we put just a little bit of this Right Stuff gasket on there. I'll smear it on there with my finger, make sure it's a nice even coat. And then we'll wedge it into the spot here. I'll leave it out just a little bit because we got a tool that's gonna push that in. And actually, I should have put this cam in first, so we'll squeeze that thing in there. Reset that seal. And then we're going to use this fast gasket we get from Zepp on the cap assembly here. We're going to lay a nice bead of gasket right along the groove here. You'll kind of see as I'm going on both sides. And then we're going to squish the cap onto the assembly there. Want to have a nice even bead if you can. And make sure you get it on both sides here. If you mess this up, there's going to be a leak. You'll have to take the head off and clean off the gasket. It's kind of no fun. We've done a lot of these and had good success just running it along the corner of this groove here. Ooh, a little out of control there. Just paint it over. Now look at it, make sure everything's up to snuff. We got to go all the way off to the seal area here and all the way off the end to prevent any kind of oil leaks there. Now that we got it, we'll just set it in place and then we'll tighten it down. Give it a little tap, close that gap up. And then we got all our bolts set out over here. I've dropped a little bead of oil on it. But there's 6 of these torque bit bolts, 8mm. Just put them in their place. And then I'll drop these 4 Allen bolts, or 8 Allen bolts into their place as well. And then we got 2 10mm bolts that have a little strange valve cover washer seal on it. And this goes around the bolt and it prevents any leaks from coming out of this hole. The bolt will seal it to the head and stop any kind of oil from coming out there. I've already put a little bit of oil on these threads, so they're all ready to install. We use an impact to get it down there. And then we will use a torque wrench to confirm that they're as tight as they need to be. It's the 6 torque bit bolts. Now we're going to do the Allen bolts. All 8 of those. And then the 2 10mm bolts there. I like to make sure that my cam still turns because sometimes it'll get locked up. Then we will use our torque wrench, snap-on torque wrench that we got here. It's a digital one. We're going to go 14 foot-pounds on the torque spits and 12 on the Allens, and 12 on the 10mm at the front. I always try and work from the outside in, or from the inside out. Keep everything even and clamping down consistently. Six of those. Now the Allens. We do those 2 pounds lighter. Alrighty. Then our 10mm bolts at the front here. And once we got that, I check over our gasket seal, make sure it's nice and squished all the way around. Everything looks pretty sweet. There's a little bit of gasket that is in the seal area. We want to remove that. I usually just use a rag and a little tool that can get in there and wipe that clear. Alrighty, we got that. Then next I'm going to push in this cam plug. I have a little tool that sets it at the proper depth. Use a hammer to tap that into place. Keeps us nice and even and consistent. There you have it. Here's that. And then let's see what's next. We got the rocker arm assembly to put on next. This rocker arm assembly has a variable valve set up, and so we have to put in these little tiny components here, a little spring, cup, and piston. So I'm going to install those real quick. So the little spring goes into this portion. Little spring first. Little spring goes in there. This little cup piece, and then the you push that down. You put a solid piston. Oop. A solid piston piece in there. And then it's spring loaded, and there's one more that goes into this little hole here. Hang on just a sec. It's kind of tricky. It fights you a lot here. There, once you get that, You can set it up, and that's how it's supposed to be set up. I'll let you get a good look at that. You got the spring cup, the pistons, all in there. And there's 2 spots on this cam, 1 for each cylinder, so we got to do the same thing to this one over here. Spring goes in there, little cup, and the solid piston there. Let's see. Right in there. And it goes there. Alrighty. Now those 2 set into place, so just adjust them so it's not going to bind on me when I put the rocker arm assembly down on it. Let's see, that's the intake side. This is the exhaust side. You got to put the exhaust side down first because the intake rocker arm assembly will get in the way. All right, now that we've got them in place, we're going to cinch them down and then tighten them with a torque wrench. These ones we put at 18 foot-pounds, so I'll set our torque wrench for that. After it pops on here, 18 foot-pounds. And then just all 8 of these need to be torqued to that. They've all been oiled up as well so that they don't creak or bind when you're torquing them down. There you have it. All right, then we take our coast flashlight and look over all the spots here, all the holes, all the gasket material, the retainers, the springs. We just kind of look over everything. I love this little light. We do have to set this little piece right here. This little piece hooks onto that. We have a little tool that we use to lock that in place. Everything looks pretty good. Let me grab that tool. We'll lock that down. Oh, shit, it's over here. So we just got a Allen wrench that we modified to fit these little things. And you can pull it back and drop it on in position so that it'll hold tension against that rocker arm assembly. Woo! All right, don't do that. That's why you wear your safe glasses, for situations like that. There we go. Make sure it's in place. And then there you have it. Rocker arm assemblies are on. This thing's ready to be bolted on and put on the car. Thank you for watching today. Hope you liked it and enjoyed. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe button and that bell notification button as well so you get all our notifications. Thanks for watching, and remember, it's all in your head.